Namaste, yogis. I am Melissa. Some of y'all know me as Om with Melissa, and today I thought we would explore some of the poses where our hips are square or parallel to the side edge of our mat. So we'll look a little more closely into Warrior 2, side angle, reverse warrior, and triangle. These are some of the basic poses where from the waist down, everything remains pretty much the same, but we see a movement in the upper body and the torso that changes how the pose looks, feels, and what we're getting into. So we'll start very gently in a seated pose, whatever that means for you, just setting our intention for our practice. So begin by finding that comfortable, easy seat. Maybe grab a pillow or a block if you need to elevate the hips. Turn the palms down onto the thighs. Gently tuck the chin. Settle the eyelids just closed enough. And taking a big inhale. And then just sigh it softly out the mouth. Almost recognition of switching gears. So stepping off and out of life off the mat and stepping into our practice as yogis on the mat. And taking a few moments to set your intention. So focus in on what brought you to the mat today. Why are you here? What is it that you need? And cultivate just a short I am statement to really nourish that. So one that I like to use very often is I am present. And it just helps me remember to breathe into the moment, to be in this body, and to let everything else just start to slide away, fall away. And when you have that short I am statement, just fold your hands into Anjali Mudra right at your heart. Bow your head, taking a big inhale, and then hold it at the top. When it's time, soft sigh out the mouth. Let it go. And we'll inhale, lift the gaze, open the eyes, swim the arms out wide, reach up, lift up, interlace the fingers, press the world away, and then we'll just gently tick-tock side to side. Not really noticing how deeply we're moving, but just starting to get some mobility through the spine. Take the right arm, wrap it around the low back, feed the fingertips to the outside on the left, and then hold your own hand. Bring the left elbow behind the back, bring the right shoulder down, and then drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Keep thinking about that I am statement and be okay if it evolves during class. Sometimes our intention evolves, changes as we move through the practice. That's okay. Release your hands. Inhale the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, take the left arm behind your back and clasp the right hand. Hold the right elbow behind the body. Snuggle the left shoulder forward. And then let the left ear fall towards the left shoulder. Try to slide that right shoulder down in a way it loves to creep up. Taking a big inhale, lift the gaze back to center. Swim the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms away. Draw the palms just out in front of the heart and then pull the spine back. Hollow out your belly. Reach forward with your hands and pull back with your heart. And then inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, drop your chin. And keep doing that just a few times. The inhale elevates the gaze. The exhale pulls it down. One more time. Big inhale, lift up. And then as you exhale, come down. We'll release the bind with our hands. Turn to face the front of our mat and we'll come right into our table. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. And then just like we did before, tucking our toes this time, start to pull the belly in, lift the back side of the heart. One more time, drop the belly into our cow pose, Bitilasana. Pick the heart up, pick the gaze up, pick the tail up. And exhale, curl tail under the body, chin towards your chest. Keep this upper arch in your back. Walk your hands forward one step. Keep those toes tucked, lift your knees. and start to pull the chest back towards the thighs. Gaze is forward in between the thumbs, and we'll start to pedal out our legs one at a time. Extend the legs long. Be okay if the heels don't tap the floor. Wrap the triceps and press the earth away. And as you press the earth away, try to slide the hands forward as you drag the feet back. Breathe. Gently pick the right foot up, lift it up high, 3-limb dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, but see if you can keep the right shoulder down towards the mat. Square that hip off again. Right toes point towards the back of the wall, maybe the ceiling. Snuggle the right knee into your chest. Pull it all the way forward. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. And then step your right foot in between your thumbs. Let your left knee come down to the mat. Walk your hands on top of your thigh. Taking a big inhale, lift up the heart. And as you exhale, stack the shoulders on top of the hips. Point the tailbone down towards the mat. And then gently, we'll rotate the left toes over towards the right edge of our mat. So we'll pivot the body. Staying with our knee down, right knee over that right ankle, we're going to start to make the shape of warrior two hips, but with our knee down, so we're not quite so energetic just yet. We'll note that the left hip is pulled back. The right knee is angled forward, and we're trying to get the rib cage to stack on top of our hips. We'll extend the arms. Pull the low belly in. Draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine, but reach through the fingers so that it turns on the triceps. And you'll know when the triceps are on because instead of having all of this just kind of hanging out, everything energizes and pulls into the body. And then just briefly while we're here, this is the shape that we will take in that torso. Long body in all of these poses. So this would be knee down warrior two. And the idea here is that when we come to standing, we're going to try and keep the hips square or parallel to the side edge of our mat. And we'll take that to the other side. Gently just cartwheel the hands down, frame the right foot, turn the left toes back towards the back. Tuck your left toes, ground down through your hand, and slide your right foot all the way back up to the sky. Settle the right foot down next to the left, and then begin to float the left leg high to the sky. Point it either to the back wall or to the ceiling, and then bend the knee, open the hip. Notice how that same opening starts to happen across the outer band of the hip, just like it does when we're in our warrior two. And then gently square the hips back off. Pull the knee into the chest as you do. Round forward, come into your plank, shoulders over wrists. Step the left foot down. Gently bring the right knee down to the mat. Untuck those back toes and start to walk the hands onto the thigh. Big inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, stack shoulders on top of the hips. Turn the glutes on, really important here. And then I'll give you a backside view for this left side. So start to rotate to the right toes, over to the left. Turn your torso, so now it's parallel to the right edge of your mat, and extend your arms out long. Try to bring the left knee on top of the left ankle. Pulling gently so that the right hip rotates back. And then really important, turn our glutes on. This is what's going to lock the pose into space for us in the low body. Lift up out of the hips. So instead of falling in, we're inhaling, we're extending, elongating from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And then trying to keep the tailbone flush down towards the mat. A lot of the times we wind up articulating back. We want to keep it down. Just as before, activate the upper body. So pull the shoulder blades in and then expand through the fingers so that the upper back is active. As the upper back is active and pulling, it's expanding and stretching the chest. The fingertips close into one another and you look over that extended left hand. Careful to iron out the wrinkles in the back of the neck so we're not shrugging our shoulders too high. And we'll see about doing some of this in standing. So cartwheel the hands down, frame the left foot, turn the right toes back, tuck them. Lift that back knee and extend the left leg all the way back behind. Gently settle the left foot down with the right. And we'll take a moment to get into our hamstrings. So engage through the belly. Start to lift the tailbone really high. Come onto the fingertips and then walk the hands back towards the feet. Melt over the legs, shake out the head a little bit. Inhale and halfway lift, extend the spine. Feel that length from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And then exhale, fold. Let's do that again. Inhale, halfway lift. Shoulder blades move down the back. Belly draws in and tailbone extends back behind us. Gentle bend of the knees as we fold this time. Drop the head, drop the fingers, and then slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Stacking the shoulders over the hip, the head comes up last, ears settle over the shoulders, and then we'll inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Just as before, exhale, expand and reach the palms up for the sky. Press your hips over to the left as you use your right hand to pull your left arm over to the right. And then inhale back to center, take that to the other side. Left arm pulls the right, right hip presses over. Inhale to center. Release the arms down. Now we'll take a really nice long stride forward. So keeping the left knee soft, step the right foot forward, 3.5, maybe 4 feet. You'll slide the right foot to the center of your mat, and then turn your left toes towards the left edge of your mat. Looking down at our feet, we want our right heel to be in line with our left arch, and we'll start to bend the knee. Now, if you're like me and you can bend the knee further than the ankle, it means we haven't quite taken enough space yet. So we'll walk that right foot forward gently and find a space that's comfortable. Maybe one day thigh will be parallel to the floor, but today, as long as we have that knee stacked firmly over the ankle, we're brilliant. We're right where we need to be. We'll tune into the back leg, spread the back toes, press the pinky side edge of the foot in as much as you have the big toe, and then start to work on the hip. So we want that left hip to slide back gently to make room for the right hip to come round. We'll pull the tailbone down towards the floor, zip up the low belly. So sometimes, like I said, we'll fillet the tailbone behind us, which opens up the ribs and exposes everything. So we're gonna pull that in and make it strong. Sinking deep into the hips, we'll take that big inhale, pull the rib cage up. And notice when we lift up, we aren't flaying. We're just lifting. And then start to expand the arms wide. With the arms wide, once again, shoulder blades snuggle in, fingertips reach out, and we'll work into that front leg. So just straighten and bend a couple of times, a little dynamic movement to get the body a little bit warmer. Sometimes even these traditional poses can be a lot to start with. And then bend into that knee significantly. So here we have Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, one of the iconic poses we've all been in, or as beginners will be in soon enough. Think about drawing the feet together like they want to touch even though they won't, but expanding and pressing energy out. Squeeze the inner thighs. Engage your bottom. So really pull the glutes up and in for strength. And we'll take just a little bit of a break. Relax the arms down. Straighten that right leg. Maybe press that left hip back a little bit. Look back. And then expand once more into our Warrior 2. So from Warrior 2, we'll keep everything from here down exactly the same. We'll move into our side angle, our Parseval Konasana. We'll bend the right elbow. Place the forearm onto the thigh. The left arm is going to swim forward. Palm is going to face down. And we'll try and line the left forearm up with the left ear. Ideally, we'll be able to draw that left hip back to make room for the right to slide under. Still engaging through the outside edge of that left foot. So many times we roll onto the arch here. Continue to press back. Reach a long line from left middle finger all the way to left pinky toe. And then notice if you can pick up that right hand. If we have a lot of weight into that right arm, we're usually collapsing into the right side waist, and we just need to work onto the strength there. For seasoned practitioners, you can actually take your hand to the inside, maybe even to the outside, depending on your level of strength and rotation through your spine. Hips are still square to the right edge of your mat, and maybe you take a peek under that left arm. Draw your navel center in. And then use the strength of your left arm, swing it back out, down, and press into your feet. Right back into our warrior two. Might be a good time to take a little break in between. Straighten that right leg. Point your right toes forward. Look at your big toes. Make sure they're in one strong line. And then we'll take a gentle fold. Interlace your hands behind your back and start to curl forward. Once you're forward, you decide maybe thumbs stay down by your low back and that feels really yummy, or you reach your hands up overhead. And again, it can be dynamic movement, so maybe we just bend one knee and then the other, sway a little bit. The beautiful thing about a yoga practice is the organic movements, the movements that our body are asking for, are exactly what we want to entertain. And then gently spread through the feet to lift the body back up. Release your bind. Step your right foot up with your left, and let's take some of those on the left side before we wear out the right side. So we'll step back to the back of our mat once more. This time the right foot will stay exactly where it's at, and we'll step the left foot forward, giving ourselves that nice big space. We'll turn the right toes towards the right edge of our mat, press through the pinky side edge of that foot, and then bend the left knee on top of the left ankle. We'll draw ourselves down. So start to bring the tailbone down towards the mat as we elongate as though someone were pulling a string up the top of our head. Press down through the right big toe, left big toe, and then expand the arms wide right and left. Tune into those shoulders, pull them in, expand and reach out, and then squeeze the feet together like you're going to draw the mat in. Pay close attention to the glutes. They should be nice and strong and active here. We're trying to make a nice long line from the left inner knee to the right front hip as though they were being gently pressed apart. And you can even take your left hand to your inner thigh, your right hand to your right hip, and just expand that space on your own and notice where that feeling's supposed to be. Or rather, where that feeling is emanating from. Expand the arms for one more breath, and then we'll straighten that left leg. Keep a soft bend. Press back through that right hip. Just make a little more space. Relax the quads here. And we'll move into our Parseval Konasana side angle on this pose, or in this moment. Bending that left knee once more. Remember, the lower body is remaining just as it is. We're simply pouring our upper body over. So movement from above the hip, start to reach forward, bend the left elbow, take the left forearm to your thigh, and then gently swim the right hand forward, up, and around, and roll the right shoulder back. As the right shoulder rolls back, test the weight here, make sure we're not too heavy into the left side. And continue to feel that space. You might even move the elbow to the inside, right hand to the outside, and crack that wide open. Now again, seasoned practitioners, you may be here and feeling a little more need, and you can bring your hand to the inside or maybe the outside. Trying to find that spiral line. So it's not merely that we're parallel to the edge of our mat now. Now we're trying to take our left side rib cage and even roll it up towards the sky to expand even further into the body. One more breath. Gently reach your right hand back behind you. Step down with the left foot to rise back, warrior two. Turn your left toes to line up with your right. And this time, we'll take our hands to our hips and start to fold forward. As we get out of the quads and into the hamstrings, you might take your hands to your hips and keep them there. You might like to slide them down to your ankles or to your thighs, maybe even the outside edges of your feet, and use that to lengthen the spine, lift the tailbone up nice and high. Big inhales here, fill the body. And then as you exhale, slowly roll up. Changing it up just a little bit, bend the knees, step your right foot to your left, and then shake and let all of that go. Give yourselves a moment here to just kind of reset. And then we'll meet at the back of the mat. So Moving into our triangle Chikunasana and our Varprita Virabhadrasana, or peaceful warrior, or reverse warrior, however you prefer. We'll move there. Stepping the left foot down firmly. We'll take the right foot forward a few feet. And with the right foot stepping forward that 3.5, 4 feet, we'll again turn the left toes towards the left edge, step the right heel in line with the left arch, and expand the arms nice and wide. We'll draw the navel center in, pull the tailbone slightly forward, and we'll move into our Trikonasana, which is a slightly more challenging pose. If you're like me and have a lot of mobility in the back, it can be hard to grab the lines here. So think nice, strong spine. It's like you're in Tadasana the whole time, mountain pose. Spine is elongated. Straighten that right knee, but be mindful. So hyperflexible people, do not banana your knee. Flex the quads and keep a soft bend in the knee so that you're active into your body. Reach through your fingers, pull your belly in, and then start to slide the right hip forward. Just like we did in Parseval Konasana, only instead of bending the elbow, we're going to keep the arm long. We'll tilt ourselves over. Start to bring your right fingertips towards the mat. If you get here and it's too intense, pull the belly in, straighten the spine, and bring the hand to the inside of the leg. You might even enjoy having a block here. You'll bring the left hand on top of the left shoulder. Use the right arm to rotate the chest so that the body isn't collapsing towards the floor, but it's rotating open towards the right edge of our mat. And as you're here, you're making those fine adjustments from before. The left hip rolls back, the right hip rolls under, glutes are pulling in, legs are nice and active. You can pick the right toes up, splay them nice and wide, and set them down to engage the right arch. Maybe take a peek back at that left foot. Make sure the left pinky toe is strong and engaged. And then if you're feeling comfortable, if you're here and your body says okay, maybe you shift your gaze from the floor to your left thumb. Squeeze all the muscles in the legs to come back to center. And now we'll bend back into our knee. So we're bent once more. Where are we at? Warrior two. And from warrior two, it's a simple transition to reverse warrior. So you'll float the palm up. The left hand's going to draw down the left leg, but keep it soft. The propensity here is to put a lot of weight in it. Keep it gentle. Gaze at that right palm. Make sure the right knee is over the right ankle. And start to lift up. And as you lift up, keep a gaze on the right middle finger pad. Relax the shoulders. A lot of the times we're here, and we can relax them and be here. And then test the weight in the left hand. So if you're here and you're holding on for dear life, you've come a little too far. Back it back up. But if you're here and you're okay, you can slide down a little bit further. Make sure to maintain that bend in the front knee, though. It loves to straighten. Bend. And then gaze up. Squeeze the inner thighs, turn the glutes back on, belly on. And gently release back to your warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Pivot the left toes. Pivot the right toes. And we'll move right into the other side. So pivot the left toes back now, making sure that our alignment is still there. We want heel to arch alignment. So if you need to shimmy, shimmy a little bit. Yoga does take some fancy footwork. Extend the arms. Bend the left knee. Find warrior two position first. So think of warrior two as home base in these particular poses. It's where we want to start and where we want to move from. So once you find warrior two, start to straighten that left leg. Now notice what happens. My body went, I can make this simpler. And it cocked my right hip back. But instead of cocking the right hip back, we want to pull that energetically back in. Tailbone points down towards the mat, just as it does in warrior two. We're squeezing the feet together, and then we're reaching from here. So instead of being here, we're here. And then start to tip yourself over, left hand towards the floor, right hand stacks over the right shoulder. Now I mentioned this is hard if you are very flexible in your back. So if you want, stay here for 2 more breaths, or come out just for a moment, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So If I were to take a backside view of this pose, and I'm very flexible, what I'll do here is I'll send my butt back. And as I send my butt back, it makes more room for me to rotate up. But as you can see, my spine, not in great alignment here. We're doing some rather big compression into that low back. So if I were to come back up and try and avoid, what I do is tailbone down, hip rolls back, arms expand. Keeping that right hip in, I'll reach forward from here. Squeeze, 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 point, point, point. Take the hand down and use that to come around the spine. It went from here, booty's out, till engaged, body in. And then gently, if you've been holding on for dear life, come out of that back to warrior two. And we'll take that same, I'll give you the reverse view for this one too, just so that we have some symmetry with the rest of our class. Expand the arms, tailbone down, hip in. Right hand's gonna fall down the right thigh. I'm gonna check in with the feet, make sure they're nice and active. Make sure that left knee is bent on top of the left ankle. Palm of the left hand will turn up, and I'll gaze at my palm as I lift up and back. And as I lift up and back, I'm going to make sure bottom is engaged. Arm is reaching like we're trying to pull left side rib cage away from left side hip. Right hand is soft. Doesn't even need to be there. It can hang down if we wanted it to. And I'm lifting the heart up and back, trying to keep that gaze on the left middle finger. Breathe here for one more breath. And then gently, warrior two or home base. Swim the right hand forward, step the right foot up to meet the left, and shake it all out. So if we wanted to put all of that together, we could make it a very simple transition. So we'll try stepping to the back of our mat, both sets of toes face forward. We'll step the right foot out 3.5, maybe even 4 feet at this point because we're a little warmer. We'll dial the right foot in line with the left arch, and we'll expand the arms out, warrior two. From warrior two, we'll bend the right elbow, take the right forearm to the right thigh, and lift the left arm up and overhead. From here, we'll take the right hand down to the inside of the right thigh and begin to straighten the right leg, being mindful to pull that right hip underneath the body and float the left hand on top of the left shoulder. Squeeze and firm the low body. Use the left hand to bring the body back to neutral. Bend the right knee, find warrior two. And from warrior two, we'll slide the left hand down the thigh, turn the right palm up, and move into our peaceful warrior. From peaceful warrior, we'll dial ourselves right back into warrior two. Gaze over that right middle finger. Start to straighten the right leg, turn the right toes forward, and then pivot onto the left toes facing the back edge of our mat. Mindful to pull that right hip back in, bend the left knee, you're in warrior two. From warrior two, bend the left elbow, sink the hips, take the left forearm down, right arm comes up and over. Try to roll the right hip back. Breathe. Turn the gaze down towards the floor, slide the left hand to the inside of that left leg and straighten the left leg. Pull the right shoulder up, right fingertips stack on top of the right shoulder, and then we'll turn the body on so that we're not here. We're here and strong and open. Gently, slowly start to bend the left knee. Take the right arm back, right through warrior two. Float the right palm down as the left palm moves towards the sky, lifts up, back. Keep that bend in the front leg. It's a tricksy one for beginners especially. Even me, seasoned practitioners, that knee wants to straighten. And then gently warrior two. Straighten that left leg. Step the right foot to meet the left. Big inhale, fill up. And exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Take a moment to tune back in to our intention for practice. Has it changed? Is it the same? Where is that I am statement right now? And then we'll stretch some of that out before moving into our Shavasana. So gently stepping towards the center of our mat. We'll take our toes out, double hips width length, heels in, and we'll bend the knees, sink down into our Yogi Squat. I made that look pretty simple, but I know that it's not for everyone. So if you came down to here, brilliant. If you came down to here, brilliant. Stay wherever you are for 3 breaths. Pressing the knees back, the elbows connecting to the knees to make a little more resistance. And then gently bringing hips down to the ground, soles of the feet together. Left hand is going to thread over to the right knee, and we'll pick the right arm up, twist. Allow the right hand to cross over the left. Take a hold of that left knee and twist. Slide the left hand to the left thigh. Maybe you have a hold here. Maybe that's a little too deep, and we hold on to the feet. Wherever you are, keep the arms crossed and pull forward. Feel that a little deeper into the caps of the shoulders. They did a lot of work today. Inhale, expand the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, take the right arm on top, left arm under, hold, squeeze, and fold. Smile at it. Remember your I am statement. There's a reason you're here, even if it's a struggle. And then release. We'll take our legs nice and wide. Whatever wide is to you, it's all relative to our bodies. We'll take our hands to the inside of our thighs, feed them underneath our hamstrings, and gently fold forward and lean back. Massaging through the arms, as well as getting a little bit into the hips. And then finally, take your hands to the outside edges of your legs, wherever that is for you. Hold on firmly and fold. Try to keep the spine nice and long, the shoulders pulling down the back, the chin lengthened forward. And slowly inhale, roll up. Drag that left leg over to meet the right. We'll bend both knees, slide ourselves to about the center of our mat, hug our knees in towards our body, walk the feet in, and then gently embrace our inner child and roll down onto our backs. Taking just a few rolls up and down before settling and moving towards a very gentle twist to close out our practice. Take your arms into 90-degree bends. Let your knees fall over to the left. Maybe take your left hand to your right hip and just slide it down, massaging into that outer hip muscle. It can feel really good after a Warrior 2 series. And use an inhale, come back to center, relax the left arm down. Let the knees fall over to the right. Slide your right hand down your thigh. Smile at practice. Hips might be a little juicy, a little loosey-goosey after this, that jelly feeling if we stayed. And we did. We stayed in the hips this entire practice. It's been a very long sequence for our hips, so we might be feeling this tomorrow. Release the right hand, bring the knees back to center. Just draw some big circles with the knees. You can use your hands or let them go. Draw big circles in the other direction. And then slide the feet out long. Reach the toes for the front of your mat, your fingers for the back of your mat. Big inhale, reach, and then exhale, unfold the body. Just rest into space here for a few moments. And so we'll take Shavasana, the most important pose of our entire practice. And what I like to do, especially when I'm working on a sankalpa or an intention, that short I am statement is, as I inhale, I think to myself, I am. And as I exhale, I use that word that I've selected. So I am on the inhale, and for me, present on the exhale. And I use that as a mini meditation to make my way into Shavasana with a little more clarity, so that if any thoughts start to wander in, I can use that almost like a shield against my own monkey mind. Wherever you are, whatever your I am statement is, inhale, I am, and exhale, your word. And as you're doing that, mindfully release tension in the feet. Let go of tension in the legs. Soften the belly, the hips, the glutes. Release the shoulders, the arms. Relax the hands. Let the whole body settle in. Soften the mouth, the cheeks, the eyes, the forehead, the whole body soft and at rest. Settle here, and I'll call you back when it's time. Move your right hand on top of your heart, your left hand on top of your right. And taking a big inhale into your heart space. I am. And as you exhale, firmly press that word into your heart. Make it come to life. Breathe it into that space. It is a pleasure and a privilege to practice with you today and always. Namaste. And thank you so much, yogis, for joining me. I hope to see you again soon.